All right, welcome back to Whiskey 7 Labs. I'm Pat, and today we're going to take the M9 bag and we're going to update it for the current deep fight focus that SOF has found themselves in. So we've got the M9 bag. It's been the standard of all things Special Operations Medic for going on a few decades now. It's got a lot of awesome features we're going to try to save, but at the end of the day, this is just too big to do a typical infiltration and fight and extend out of for weeks on end behind enemy lines. So a lot of the problems we're having right now is bulk. So how do we take a lot of these good features, the clamshell design, the organization, and put it into a smaller form factor where a lot of the bulky stuff can get cross-loaded throughout the team, and the medic has just what he needs to work out of, and he can pull it off his rucksack, pull it off of his waist, get to work, put it all back together again without having to deal with an extended, bulky style M9 bag and carry more of the other essentials that the rest of the team needs. All right, so how are we gonna do that? So what I'm thinking is we take the standard clamshell design of the M9 bag, but we scale it down so that way it's gonna be a form factor somewhat like the top third of the M9 bag here. This will be put onto a butt pack or be used as a butt pack with a padded belt so that it can be stuck onto a rucksack. But again, clamshell design, Velcro on the inside for organization, some specific pouches that some 18 Delta buddies are really asking for. And then we're gonna put it all together, see what works, tweak what doesn't work, and eventually at the end of it, I wanna have a working copy that we can get out to the field and get in some hands some dudes that are using it, and then we'll go from there. We'll revisit all, obviously, once we have some results from the field, and we'll come back with a version 2 when we need it, and then this might be a good product that we come forward with. All right, so this is what I got design-wise. So as you can see, we got 3 main pieces here. The first is gonna be that main fold-out, and that's gonna create like a C shape, and that's kind of the zipper on it. So it's gonna fold from the bottom, the side, and the top. And what that's gonna do is allow a nice smooth interface, hopefully, so a guy can rip, pull down, open the whole thing up, and have everything lay flat. To the sides, we're gonna have a lot of our pouches, and that's gonna be a lot of those like internal organization, as well as the external molly. Again, we're keeping that to the outside, so that way the center stays nice and clean with that loop tape. And then finally, how do we attach this thing? So we've got the back face, and we're gonna use molly on this one, so you can add it onto a padded belt just to start out with, but later on we might update that, integrate it directly into a belt itself. The interesting part in this one we're gonna fight through is gonna be these relief tabs. So how do we take a curved zipper and attach it to a 90-degree angle? Well, hopefully these guys will allow us to do that. You guys are gonna see the struggle. But at the end of it, I wanna have a nice smooth zipper so you can rip it open. You can zip it back together again without having to have any binding of that zipper, so that way it's nice and smooth. So let's get all laser cut out and see what it goes. Got everything laser cut out. The next step normally is all the hemming and binding. However, I want to see if this good idea was in fact a good idea. So next thing I'm going to do is make sure that this works, and then from there we'll get into all the easy stuff, but this is going to be the tricky part, so let's see how it goes.
Style is the answer to everything. Fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
Now, this is one of those tricky ones where like it worked, not quite how I thought it was going to, so I could just go with what we got and send it, but I think I'm gonna go back through and make this piece just a little bit bigger so that curve's a little softer. So back to the laser. All right, so we're gonna take this guy, we're gonna add an inch to both ends. So with that, we should be good to go. Let's see what that looks like. right, that came together really well. As you can see, we got a nice sharp corner here. We got a curve to our zipper, so I like this a lot better. So now we're gonna split this thing apart, then we're gonna get into our hemming and our binding. All right, so now that all the binding's done, what we're gonna do next is assemble these wings. So we got our main piece right here. On top of that, we're gonna put our laminate. And so I'm gonna sew that in a way that this creates a large pocket. On the inside, we're gonna do some more pockets. So the first one is going to be another sleeve. That'll be good for chest seals, small flat items that are gonna stay contained. And then on top of that, we're gonna slap this guy, and that's gonna be your vertical organization. So think needle Ds, Sharpies, any kind of vertical items, syringes, those kind of things will slide right into these guys. Keep it all well contained within the wing, a little bit of extra organization.
I regard the work of motivation the most important work in the history of man. Everything that happens is motivation.
All right, the wings are all done. We got our molly on there. We got our internal organizer. So next step is gonna be the main closure of the bag. So we're gonna get that hemmed, add a zipper, and keep going.
Everything that happens is motivation. Everything that happens is motivation. I regard the work of motivation the most important work in the history of man. Everything that happens is motivation. Everything that happens is motivation. I regard the work of motivation the most important work in the history of man. Everything that happens is motivation. Everything that happens.
All right, all wrapped up with our main closing flap. So as you can see, big old piece that folds open, so that way the medic can Velcro on all the individual pouches that he wants for his internal organization. However, this is gonna fold up in like a C shape. This will be the top, bottom, and back of the fanny pack. So on the outside here, we got a little caddy for some shears, we got Velcro for some marking, and some molly at the bottom for lashing on extra stuff. And then a big request from the 18 Deltas is this internal sleeve right here, and that's gonna be for your big flat items, splints, or anything else like that. So now we're gonna put together a molly and hopefully create a bag shape here pretty soon.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. Fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
so this is everything basically prepped for final assembly. So as you see, we got our wings, we got our backer, we got our main closing flap, and we got our relief cuts over here. So next thing, we're gonna put on these wings, then we're gonna put in the relief cuts, finish it off with zipper, and get this whole thing finished out. So we're getting pretty close to being done. I'm pretty happy with how it's going. All right, so here we can see it. All the closure stitches are done, and this is the final shape, and it is a shape. Not quite what I was going for. I'm definitely gonna curve this thing out and round out a little bit more for the next version, but it is functional, and that's what's important for a prototype. Second, I'm gonna tweak the file here for the zipper. I wanna get the zipper to lay a little bit flatter. So on the sides here, see how it's flush? I want it to stay flush on the top too. Bring it down, but that's just a little tweak. It'll be improved for next time. But overall, I like it. I think it'll work. Next step is gonna be the final binding, and then we're pretty much done with this sucker. So then we'll get it onto a butt pack, and we'll get it out in the field. There we go, minimalist med pack for the deep fight. Medics, let me know, is this enough? What other features do you want to have? What do you want to see in this thing? How do we make it better for the V2? See how it works.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.